All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TEC South Asia Championship League powered by LG UltraGear. Today, we have the first semifinal of the day. It's the sister team match between Deimos Force Main and Deimos Force Rio. My name is Redwood, and today I'm joined by Kaka in the commentary desk. Hello, Kaka, what's going on? How do you feel about this game?
Hey, so I'm so excited to watch this game together with you since we could potentially meet one of the winners, from this game in the finals if we happen to win our game, which is later at 8 p.m.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, pretty excited.
Yeah, so it kind of gives you like an advanced outlook onto your future opponent because both your future opponents are playing in this game. So, yeah, that's a really lucky advantage for you.
Oh yeah, and right off the bat, we can see a lot of targeted bans at each other actually. Galio J4 towards Forest, and then Brom and Trundle towards Shifu and Shakya.
Right, Shakya has been very consistent with that. J4 is one of the more versatile champions in the jungle right now, so it makes sense to ban that out. On the other hand, we do see that Varus has been banned out as well.
Yeah, and I think this just means DF Rio want to take that Ezreal as a first pick or Syndra, whichever is left open. So they just deny Varus from DF essentially.
Right, so right now DF going with the final Annie ban, which is not really a champion we've seen so far in this tournament, so I'm kind of
I mean,
perplexed
we,
about
we
that.
did see it once when Filler Cuties played it against DF and DF lost heavily. So I just don't think they want to play against it anymore.
That must have been some traumatizing game then.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there you go. There is your prediction. They did pick up the Ezreal, DF Rio, opting to pick it up at first by banning out the Varus.
Yeah, and this is very standard. We could again see a Philios or Ash pick for Crixus right here with a heavy engage support. Let's see what they go for. Maybe set.
Ooh,
Oh,
Volibear, very
Volibear.
safe pickup. It's a flex pick as well because Volibear has been very powerful in both the roles of top and jungle ever since his mini update that he got after his rework. He
Yeah.
has been dominant in both solo queue and competitive play, so it's a very, very safe pickup, and followed by an Ashe, which does give them that sort of advanced engage that Volibear lacks. So yeah, that's a good pickup as well.
Yeah, and Wally is really strong in the jungle and top lane as well, but mostly in the jungle. And you have the ability to dive opponents without even really caring for the turret because you can
Definitely.
disable it with your ult.
Yeah.
It's a very strong pick, and Graves as well is a very strong pick. And Shokya loves to play that Graves, by the way.
Yeah, I think Graves is a really good pickup into Volibear because Graves is a champion that likes to just go in and skirmish in these fights, and in extended fights, I think if you just charge his armor up with quick draw, you can sustain a bit more damage against a mammoth champion like Volibear, right? So it's a really good pickup in the jungle or in top lane, depending on where you want to see it. Graves overall is a very solid pick, given any jungle opponent right now. So yeah.
Yeah, and safe blind in Oriana. She is again the queen of mid lane. You don't really have any, bad matchups per se,
Right.
and you scale really great as well. And speaking of which, again, Blitzcrank blind pick against the Ezreal who can buffer his E out against the Graves who can again E out. So I'm not a fan of that, honestly.
I think they just really want to play these hook supports because DF are known for playing Thresh and Blitzcrank into these sorts of aggressive ADCs like Ashe who have that sort of an engage going for them. So they might just play for picks looking at their overall team composition so far. And the
Yeah.
Orianna pick actually kind of foreshadows a engaged support or engaged top laner coming out from the side of DF Rio because you do need someone to take that Orianna ball into the enemy team
Yeah, and
for the initiate into the ult.
speak about it, Malphite ban, so this could indicate a Wukong pick at top or mod, but I mean, you don't really see Malphite being banned unless you
Definitely.
want to pick something which is very AD focused. So let's see
Yeah.
what Van Gogh chooses for himself.
Gonna be a Diana.
Diana, yeah. A lot of engage on DF right now.
Yeah, a lot of engage, a lot of follow-up engage as well. I think that Diana is for the mid lane. So
Yeah.
Diana versus Orianna, what do you think about that matchup?
I mean, again, Diana can't really. I mean, she doesn't have all that of kill potential on Oriana. Oriana can just, scale safely into the late game and be stronger than Diana, honestly.
Right, and we do see that Alistar pick coming up from the side of DF Rio, obviously as a complement to
Count-
the Orianna ultimate.
Yeah, and the
there's
counter to Blitz as well.
Right, and we do see an Ornn. very good engage coming out. So it's a really balanced team composition coming out from DF Rio.
Yeah, and a lot of team fighting with a lot of CC as well.
Seems like
So-
both these teams just want to skirmish around as much as they can because they did pick up quite a few team fight oriented champions
Yeah,
right now.
and but DF Rio do have a more well-rounded comp right now. Let's
Yeah.
see what Van Gogh chooses for himself. Maybe the set comes out as a counter to on.
Mordekaiser.
Mordekaiser, yeah. I mean,
Right,
again, so a lot of melee champions on DF's side, which is really good for Oriana and the Shockwave.
Yeah.
Let's see how this one goes.
And it's also good for Shifu on Ezreal because he can just, kite them around. Because other than the Ashe ultimate and the Blitzcrank hook, which Ezreal really shouldn't have to worry about,
Yeah.
honestly. Other than those two, and other than the Ashe ultimate, or let's say, for example, the Mordekaiser ultimate, I really don't think that Ezreal is going to be threatened by a lot of
Graves,
engages.
right? Because Graves has a dash of his own as well. And
Right.
And I have to say that Graves and Ezreal are really good into Diana because you can just dodge the ult.
Uh-huh.
So that Diana pick might not be as good as Termi thinks it is for the laning phase.
Right, and especially if you're against an Oriana, she can just basically zone you out from CS because you're pretty weak in the early game against a ranged champion who can dish out loads of damage like Oriana.
Yeah.
And the fact that she also has self-peel in the form of her speed up, and the shield.
And
so
the
she can
shield,
actually
yeah.
tank a lot of damage coming out from Diana if Termi decides to go in for the harass. But yeah, I'm going to have to see how this lane actually goes out in terms of the jungle intervention. Like, Volibear is going to have his work cut out for him in the bot lane because it's going to be very difficult to gank for pre-level 6. Post-level 6, I think Crixus can just initiate with the Ashe ultimate and maybe you can catch out the support or Feeder Troll 69 given the fact that he fails his E somehow and gets hit by the Ashe ultimate. But other than that, I think that top lane should be a good priority for him, given that the Ornn is an immobile champion. But bear in mind that Mordekaiser really does not have as effective of a gank supplement as you might think with his claw, right? Because it is easy to dodge. And if you do dodge it, it kind of makes it more difficult for Volibear to come in and gank the Ornn.
Yeah, and like Wally's gonna have a hard time ganking as well, as you just said, because not a lot of CC in the lanes to set up for him. And like really mobile champions on the other side as well. I mean, he could camp the Oriana, but pre-6, it's gonna be very hard.
Yeah, but looking at the side of DF, we do see that while they do have some semblance of snowball potential, I think they might just want to slog it out and wait for that mid to late game transition period where all their champions just have their required items, and they can just dish out loads of damage or tank loads of damage like the Volibear would want to or the Mordekaiser would want to, right? In terms of the team composition in DF Rio, I think they just want to fight as soon as possible. Like, expect an early dragon coming out from the side of Rio because they do have that sort of a team composition going where they just want to engage, right?
Yeah, it's basically a level 6 comp. You get your ults and you fight.
Exactly. So yeah, we will see a lot of early game skirmishes going on around the Dragon area, or possibly even in the Rift Herald area, given the fact that Graves can just go up there and try to contest it. So let's see. What do you think about the two teams? Who do you think is going to come out the winner just by judging based on the team comps? Because we do know that these players are of different skill levels, and it's kind of difficult to judge. But yeah, who do you?
Yeah,
who do
and
you
not to mention
pick?
they know each other very well, as you just said, because they are sister teams after all.
Right.
Having said that, I do think that DF Rio has the better draft. They have better scaling, and all their champs will hard spike at 2 items. So it's on to them if they can just scale up, get to those power spikes, and then fight.
Yeah. All depends on those early skirmishes. If DF Rio do get an advantage, it is good for them, kind of, but
it's really good for them, yeah.
Yeah, it is good for them because they do have that team composition advantage in the early game. But if somehow DF main gets the advantage in those early game, it's going to be massive for them because they want to win those engages, right? They're going to be the ones who are playing on the back foot in the early to mid game, but then they're going to just scale up in the late game and just try to ruffle stomp the other team. But if they get ahead somehow because of a misplay or a mistake, that's going to be really good for them because they're not supposed to win those engages, right? So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that
and the
plays
fear
out.
of Blitzcrank is a real thing as well. You don't want to walk into any brush which isn't warded or anywhere around it. So it is kind of scary to play against Blitzcrank.
So it's kind of a mental game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And especially Rusky Panda, he's such a good Blitzcrank. You could call him a one trick as well because he prefers that champion so much. It's scary.
So let's see if goalkeeper Blitzcrank can prevent his team from being scored upon by using his hooks and his disengage. So we are in the loading screen, looking forward to a cracker of a series here. And I say
Yeah.
series because I do want this to go to game 3. I love,
And
those
it
close
just might
series.
actually. It's a very close series, and let's see how this goes. Even in draft, like it's very balanced. The champions, the players as well, they're really skilled against each other. So it's gonna be a good series.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of standoffs are just gonna be like those Mexican standoffs where they just stare at each other and they're not
Yeah.
gonna fight because they just know the ins and outs of how these two teams operate, right? So they know that if I go in, they're gonna do that. If they go in, I'm gonna do this. So both of these teams are gonna kind of cancel each other out on the mental game, but they might just go ham on each other, be like, you know what, we're just gonna have fun with this and try to get as many kills as possible, and
Yeah.
whoever wins wins.
Yeah. And having said that, we are into the game now. The loading screen's done, so I can't wait for
Right.
this.
Yeah, I'm still grayed out.
Yeah, same. Okay, it has started.
Okay. So let's sync up the timelines. We're at 7, 8, 9.
10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Yep.
in sync. I think we're in sync with the stream as well.
Yes.
All right, so ping's coming down from the
But for
side
the
of
level one
correct.
invade, let's see how this goes. I
Yeah.
mean, to be honest, DF Rio should expect this because it's a Blitzcrank. He loves to invade. Whoever's
Uh-huh.
playing it doesn't have to be, the player or something. But Blitzcranks usually just love to invade level one, see if they can get some summoners out or maybe a kill.
Right now, Feeder Troll 69 is in that advanced position near goal as they do spot out the entire team. So DF main are still pushing it. The flash comes out from Rusty Panda, just misses out the Q. He knew it was gonna miss, but that flash was kind of a desperate move. But
Yeah, and good positioning from Feeder Troll 69. He was waiting there, you know, uh, predicting that Blitzcrank and the team are going to show up. So he just waited in a safe spot, and as soon as he saw them, he ran away. And yeah, flash burn for Blitzcrank. So maybe they can punish it at bottom lane.
yeah, as the level 1 invade just fizzles out into a standard blue side start for the jungler of DF main, that name is just a bunch of lines.
Yeah, it's a barcode. I mean, it is
Okay.
Forest. We all know that. So
Yeah, yeah. So Shakya's opting to start at blue, mimicking his counterpart. Might have a slower start in comparison to Forest because of that two-laner advantage,
yeah.
but we'll see how they just plan out the routes. Might just go for a full clear because Graves is a efficient farmer in the jungle. You do want
Oh yeah.
to take advantage of that and get the levels up above the enemy as soon as possible, right?
Yeah, he has really good clear speed as a champion as well. So it shouldn't be a problem that he's getting leashed by one person. Short trades in the mid lane as well.
Yeah,
And
you can see 9mm already
getting the
going.
better of it, yeah.
Yeah, already going at that advantage of being ranged and with that Q right there. And Rusty Panda is kind of overextending right now. He wants to get that early Q onto his counterparts laners, but he knows full well not to pull in the cow because yeah, that's not gonna end well for them.
That's what the cow wants. You pull him so he can easily knock you up and W you back. So,
Yep.
but they do hit level 2 first, so they have that going for them.
Yeah, they do have that wave advantage, and it's gonna crash into Rio's bottom lane turret. And yeah, Feeder Troll 69 and Shifu already under a small amount of pressure right now from their counterparts bot lane.
Yeah, but this will sync up well if Graves does decide to gank, as we see the hook misses point blank, and worth a try maybe.
Yeah, Rusty Panda has been itching to get into a fight ever since the start of this game, as we saw in the invade.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Shakya is going for that full jungle clear onto level 4. Might be interested in a gank at bottom lane because Blitzcrank's flash is still down. Meanwhile, we do see Termi going a bit aggressive onto 9mm, gets traded back in the process, gets a few auto attacks as well for good measure.
Yeah, and a huge CS lead for 9mm, and maybe.
Oh my
can kill
goodness,
it.
he just tanked a turret shot at 9mm,
No.
tanking a lot of minions, has to go back despite getting that turret shot off onto Termi. Both of these laners are playing really aggressive.
Yeah, but like 9mm is coming out on top because he has that 10 CS advantage on Termi at minute 3. So this is pretty huge.
Definitely.
And let's see, Graves parts very smartly. Ease onto the dragon pit, doesn't go over the
Yeah.
dry brush.
So Shakya, and Shakya and 9mm do spot them out, Forest and Termi right in the mid lane. They were trying to do that scuttle crab, but Forest gets control of it despite Shakya being in that position earlier on, because he might have wanted to gank mid, might have taken a detour, but ends up losing the scuttle crab in the process. So 2 scuttle crabs gone onto Forest. That equalizes the jungle pathing discrepancy that we saw
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, but it does come at a cost again, as we said, because Termi leaves his wave to get that scuttle for Forest, but loses a lot of minions. So I hope Forest makes up for it.
Right.
Because I'm a mid laner, man. I am biased. So
Yeah, definitely.
you
That's
hate to see
completely
it.
fine. But yeah, pretty lukewarm coming up right now. But we do see Shakya has successfully gone into that tri-bush as Zuko
And this
does
could be first
initiate
blood
onto
soon.
Van Gogh. This might be the first blood of the game. Shakya goes in with that smoke. The flash comes out from Zuko, does a lot of damage. Oh my god, the reverse claw. Is it going to be enough to save him? It is.
Oh wow,
Inmam
that's
saves himself with that reverse claw.
yeah,
That
that was
gank was
well
going to be
played.
terrible, but here goes Rusty Panda. Finally lands a hook onto Shifu. That's not the ideal target, but still going to do some damage anyway. Nothing comes out of that fight, but wow, in the top lane. What a clutch claw right
And
there.
Forrest sees that Shakya had ganked up, so immediately he starts dragon, doesn't waste any time, which is really good for. Which dragon is it? Is it Ocean? It's Infernal, so Infernal's really good for DF right now.
Yeah, and Boris is just easily taking this one. This is probably the easiest dragon that he is ever going to take in any of these series, as Rusty Panda spots out Shifu. He took the blast cone, but nothing doing. Shifu is forced to flash out as Crixus is going to do some damage right now. He flashes in, tags the Q. The tankiness from Shifu is going to do nothing as Crixus picks up the first blood of the game. We should have seen that sooner, but yeah, finally it arrives as we do see
Yeah,
another
and
pause.
really aggressive from Crixus as well. Flashes in to get that kill. Completely worth it. Knows his limits, and a dragon in first blood as well. So they're off to a good start as well.
Okay, so we're now in a pause timer. But yeah, talk to me through the entire flow of the game right now. So DF main did secure that first blood right now at bot lane. Forest got that dragon. So
Yeah,
it's not really a huge lead per se, but it is a lead nonetheless, because you do get that first Infernal Drake. As a team, we did say that DF main did not want to fight. They might have wanted to play a bit more passive, and they might have wanted to, like capitalize on a few mistakes made by Rio, and that is exactly what they did. So it's huge for them because it sets them up comfortably for that mid game, so that they can actually have that sort of an advantage going into the later dragon fights. And that is exactly where DF Rio want to fight you, right? So equalizing that level is really good for DF main at this point.
yeah, and the kill goes to the perfect person who could have picked it, and that's Crixus on that Ash. Gets ahead. He is even in CS, but first blood gold, 400 gold advantage. So he's gonna go back, get that BF sword, and be really strong. Not
Right
to
now,
mention, they did burn the heal and Alistair's flash. So next time they
mhm,
fight, Ash can just arrow and set it up pretty nicely for them.
exactly, and Fido Troll 69 and Shifu have their work cut out for them in the bot lane, because
Oh yeah,
the focus of Forest seems to be hovering around that area. They identified pretty well that their strength relies on the fact that if they can capitalize on any of the mistakes made by Rio in the early game skirmishes, they're gonna just pop off and snowball that lane. So yeah, good macro play coming out from DF main as well.
yeah. They've left Vango to fend for himself and just focus this bot side down, and that's how they usually play as well. Try to get Rusty Panda out of the lane so he can roam and put pressure elsewhere, and that's
And
exactly their plan again.
yeah, and Rusty Panda has been playing very, very aggressive so far. Like even going so far as to flashing in that invade and then pulling again the Alistar, because he just really just wants to get a kill somehow. He wants to force an
Yeah, he's,
advantage.
he's playing very bloodthirsty, and we should be back in the game soon.
Soon, I hope, because two players, I think they just disconnected, so we're gonna have to wait for that to um
Sort
get
out, yeah.
fixed. Yeah. But Daka, who do you prefer to face amongst these two teams in the finals? If you
Um,
win today's
yeah. If we
semifinal.
win, I wouldn't mind either of them honestly, because we are comfortable in our own, skills. So it doesn't matter who we play. So no
Who do
preference though.
okay, so who do you think is
But
like
we did face DF Rio in the group stages. We won that game against them. So I
yeah,
mean, if they do come, they will have that thing going on for them in their head that they lost to us. So maybe they would be, trying extra hard against us.
right? So
Let's see
that
how that
also
goes.
might be something that plays against you because they
Oh
might be
yeah,
more bloodthirsty.
yeah.
But yeah, you
But
guys are
that would be
really
more
strong as
fun.
a team. Yeah, that would be absolutely more fun. It would make for a really good competition. But your team is like super strong right now. But if you have to pick one player from 10 of these players as the most menacing or the most threatening player, who would you pick?
From DF side, both DF, Crixus, I think, because he
That's right.
plays
I
it.
think I would have gone for the same one.
Yeah, because he plays a lot of champs. He knows his limits, and if you can just somehow get him ahead, he's like one of the best AD carries in our scene to carry the game from. So, Crixus,
Yeah, definitely. I would have picked the same as well because
yeah,
Crixus has been really, really good throughout every single tournament that I've seen him play in. He's been just consistent
yeah,
on
he's
that
very
AD carry role.
consistent. That's true. And he plays all the meta champions as well, which never hurts.
Definitely. And we are back into the game finally after that long drawn out pause, which might have caused some momentum to shift. But yeah, the gold difference still not enough. 100 gold. That's not really a lot
Yeah, and
given the
it's,
given the level of
now
play right
Oriana is
now.
trying to gank top. Let's see how that works. Mordekaiser doesn't have flash, and it doesn't.
Okay, quite a bit of damage goes out, but it's still not enough to kill Itmam because he has that sort of tankiness going
Yeah,
on for him,
and
and 9mm doesn't have the
Zuko
items,
took a
honestly.
bad trade, and he still hasn't backed as well. Because if he was more than half HP, he could have just ulted, and that would have been a kill. But it's
Right,
not.
but we do see Forrest coming in. 9mm might be in a bit of trouble here as he gets stunned. Termi is in with the follow-up. The ulti goes down. The flash also comes down from Forrest. That might not have been necessary.
Yeah,
Termi picks it up with the ultimate nonetheless.
yeah, and they punished the roam very hard by taking that kill. And we were speaking about how Termi was behind in the lane. Now he's 200 gold up because he just got a kill. And they're
Yeah, and
gonna get
now
the
that
blue
just
buff as well.
equalizes a lot right now, and they're
Yeah.
yeah, they're just sealing out the blue buff. Zuka just watch, but right now, Rusty Panda, where did you come from? Oh my God, that hook lands onto Zuko. He's gonna get ambushed by 4 members of DF main right now. He gets punished with his life for trying to peek that blue buff steal. A DF main, wow, what amazing macro play.
Yeah, and that's really bad news for DF as well. Rio on the side of Rio because they just lost the goal lead in the last 30 seconds by dying. So let's see. They do get bot side camps, which might not compensate for it, but it's something.
Yeah, wow, Rusty Panda, where the hell did he come
Yeah,
from? One moment we
insane
saw him
hook
in
and
bot.
really well timed roam as well.
Yep, and that's the advantage you get when you're one tricking one champion, right? You can just make those insane plays happen, and you wouldn't even know how they happened.
Yeah, and you know the limits as well, the amount of waves you can give up to make the roam happen. So really well played by him.
Right. So even though most of the laners are still neck and neck in terms of CS, there is that CS discrepancy going down in the mid lane. But remember that Termi has got 1 kill. He has
And
2
two
assists.
assists. Yeah. So
Yeah,
he's been everywhere the kills have been. So he's been
yep, so
very
that
proactive.
gold advantage just went flip-sided right now.
Oh, and wait for this. Like Oriana is roaming bot lane, so let's see if they can get a kill. Ash does not have flash, by the way, so
Okay, a lot of spells going down. 2
and
ultimate
she
spells
dies.
down. Rusty Panda dies.
Oh,
Here
three
comes a
mana.
teleport onto unkilled Van Gogh. Oh my God, that is a lot of damage. 3-man ultimate comes out for Termi. That is going to obliterate DF Rio as they chase down Feeder Troll 69. Here comes I Killed Van Gogh with that ultimate. He's going to use that arcane shift away to go into safety. Termi still cannot target him because he's in that Shadow Realm, but he does go in. Termi is on a rampage. 4 kills right now for him in this game. 300 gold bounty. What a play.
And really nice idea from DF Rio to punish the Ash flash, but they did not account for the TPs. And Turney comes in, gets the 3-man ult, and that just changes the fight
And somehow
completely.
Rusty Panda is over there to defend top as well.
Oh, yeah. They have swapped the lane, so they are making a play for the Herald, and they might want to take that top turret quickly.
Yep, and this is going to accelerate that, right? If you use the Rift Herald onto the top lane, that's going to create an immense amount of pressure to DF Rio to prioritize or reprioritize that top lane because you're going to be down a tower or down plates. But yeah, insane pressure coming down in the bot lane, lots of TPs going down. But at the end of the day, it was Termi with that 3-man ultimate that just dealt insane amounts of damage, and with Itmam's damage following up on him, I killed Van Gogh's damage following up on him. It was just, a very easy team fight for DF main to win.
Yeah,
A
because
follow-up fight even at
Rio
that.
burned almost all of their ults for the Ashe, and she somehow did she die? She did die, but at what cost, right? And Termi is playing very well on this Diana.
Right, and he is rewarded for that. Despite being down in CS, he's 403. He's really just popping off, and a snowballing Diana is really something you do not want to be staring down in those mid-game engages.
And we are on for a little pause because Fido Troll has DC'd.
And these awkward pause times are just moments when they just take away from the momentum of the game, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we just lose the flow.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
yeah, that's the consequence or the opportunity cost of living in the region that we do. We do have interconnection problems, electricity problems, and
all
whatnot.
sorts of problem when the tournament starts.
Yeah, and I'm still humbled by the fact that a lot of players still carry on with their passion despite these glaring
Yeah.
problems that we have in our infrastructure. Because I remember during my ranked days, I used to have these electricity outages during my promos, and oh my god, they used to be so heartbreaking.
So frustrating.
Yeah, like I had this weird electricity problem that I usually don't have at like 12 a.m. and I was doing a Plat 3 promo way back in season 4 or 5, and it was just disheartening because I worked so hard to get out of Plat 3, but then it just dawned on me that
And
I
it's
probably
not
wasn't
even
gonna
your
get
fault
out.
that you don't get promoted because
Yeah.
it's something you can't help as well.
Yep, that's the problem. But despite all that, we're still in this scene. We still have a successful League of Legends scene with a lot of good players coming out of it, despite all these adverse circumstances. So, yeah, really resilient display from everyone right now. So, hoping the pause timer also doesn't run down too much before we get started again.
Hey guys, we will take a short break since Fido Troll has disconnected. So we're going to run some ads. So see you guys in a minute.
Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Justice.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, due to some unforeseen circumstances of internet issues, one team will have to FF, so DF Rio will be FFing this game for this disconnection issue, but we will be back with game 2 as they will be bringing in a sub. This is just for an announcement, but do not go anywhere. We will be back soon.
Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Justice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Justice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Justice. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TEC South Asia Championship League powered by LG UltraGear. This is game 2 of the first semifinal of the day with Deimos Force versus DF Rio. Now joining me in the commentary desk is Subasa. Hey, Subasa, what's going on? How do you feel about this game?
Yeah, good
First game.
evening. I'm really excited to join you here. And first game, it was kind of unfortunate. Stuff happened, but it's a new game, and they have brought in teamwork for AD right now. So hopefully we can go to game 3 and we can get an interesting series.
Right, so we did have to, cut that game short because of some disconnection issues coming out from DF Rio's side. So they had to FF the first game. So DF main are up 1-0 on DF Rio. So this is the second game. If they win this one, they are through to the finals of this tournament. So right now, Subasa, take us through the bans. We have 5 of them already.
Oh, interesting. Actually, I see an Annie band right there. And people probably even forgot that Annie exists as a champion when you're outside of gold. So that probably goes to show you that like these two teams know each other so well because they are like sister organizations or sister teams, right? So
Right.
unless there's someone who has been like hard spamming Annie, you don't ban a champion like Annie when there's like so many other champions which are super strong in the meta, right? So
Right.
that's where like the dynamic comes in, where you try to like mind game the other team because you know what they're gonna do, and then they're gonna prepare a counter strategy for you and so on. But yeah, so far, and everything outside of Annie seems standard enough. But DF's bans are kind of different, as in like they're not like the strongest champions in the meta, right? So those
Right.
are probably bans which the enemy players are either very comfortable at, or they are trying to ban out champions which would like deny what they're trying to do, right? Something like Brom or Poppy might make engaging super difficult for you.
Right.
So yeah, looking forward to see what the second rotations of the bans and the picks come out. Well, so far, both of like all 4 of these champions can fit into any team form if you play it in that fashion.
But I don't see any bans coming out for Rusty Panda in terms of the Blitzcrank or the Thresh. That these are 2 champions that he really loves to play, and he has been really aggressive in terms of playing these champions in any of the games that he gets to pick them. They're usually like permabanned against him. Blitzcrank is, I know that it's permabanned against Rusty Panda, but DF Rio opts to not ban it out at all. Instead, they just try to focus on the Flex Pick and the Volibear and the Trundle and the Galio as well.
They're probably thinking of getting an answer to either his Thresh or Blitzcrank because they probably feel as if like even if you ban those things out, he's gonna perform well enough on another champion, right? So why bother doing that when you can get out there things like Trundle, Volibear, and Galio, which are like super strong when it comes to team fights, right?
Right.
And interesting to see that DF actually opted to pick on into set. It's not impossible to play on into set, but it's just like you have to be careful, or Seth will mess up the entire team fight if he manages to get a good ultimate on, right? So that's something really interesting. And if Zuko manages to go even or ahead of on, then he might have a really good game this time.
Hello, sorry, I was having a microphone issue there.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so we are done with the first half of picking, and we do see pretty balanced team comps coming out. I see that Rio are opting to get in hand with that engage focused team composition that they're trying to build right now with that Jarvan and Ornn coupled with the Ezreal. Even though Feeder Troll 69 did pick up the Ezreal in the last game, I think they just wanted to pick it up away from T-Mob. So T-Mob is forced to settle for the Kaisa, who is a very strong champion, mind you. If he does snowball in lane and gets those items rolling right now over her laner. Other than that, I feel like she has struggled in the past to do that 1v1, do those types of 1v1s with strong AD carries like Misfortune ever since her nerfs. But yeah, still a solid pickup.
Yeah, exactly. And they probably didn't want to give Ezreal away when they're trying to get champions like Jarvan and on. Kaisa does have like a repositioning tool, but it's much harder to pull off than just pressing E on Ezreal, right? So ease of access and like it's like a lot more easier to reposition as Ezreal than Kaisa, so they probably took it away. And interesting that they decided to ban out Mortigaser, even though they already see Graves and Zed, so it's probably a mid lane Mortigaser ban. And yeah, the draft is a little bit interesting so far. Both teams have a lot of powerful engage tools and like repositioning tools and whatnot. But I'm unable to judge on where this is gonna go till like they lock in their last champion at this point first. Like,
Ooh,
it's a
Fiddlesticks.
Fiddlesticks. This is gonna be something interesting.
Yep.
The thing
So
about
that is
Fiddlesticks. Oh yeah, please go ahead.
no, that's a Fiddlestick support because you already have Jarvan in the jungle. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that plans out in the bot lane with an Ezreal and Fiddlesticks combined against Kai'Sa and Nautilus. Nautilus and Kai'Sa, they really do want to engage as fast as they can, right? So I think a Fiddlesticks is a good pickup into them because you do have those in disengage tools. But bear in mind the fact that you are an immobile champion, so you are prone to being bursted down by Nautilus, who has like a bucket load of CC to catch you out, right? But we need to address the elephant in the room. That's a Yasuo pick.
Yeah, very interesting Yasuo pick coming out. You have your own, you have your Jarvan, you have all the tools you require. So this is going to be a field trip for Yasuo. He's going to be able to do everything that he wants, and no one's going to be able to stop him. And then we have Azir on the enemy side, which is really interesting to me.
Wait, it's not a Fiddlesticks jungle. I mean, it's a Fiddlesticks jungle. It's not Fiddlesticks support.
Oh, right. We're gonna have to wait on this, right, bro? They might like swap it at the last moment just to bait us at this point. Because yeah, that like it is possible to play Jarvan support and Fiddlesticks jungle. It's not impossible. I do believe like both of those champions can be flexed around depending on what you want to do, but one would expect that it's gonna be a Jarvan jungle for the most part.
Yeah, because we don't see Jarvan support, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Jarvan support
Right?
is a thing that some people have been trying out on like solo queue in like Diamond or like and I believe it's EU Diamond solo queue. There have been like people trying out Jarvan support where you build full lethality and you try to like throw out as much damage at the enemy as possible, and then you did your job at that point, and you hope that your team can clean up. Oh yeah, it is going to be a Jarvan jungle.
I guess they have to follow that
a Jarvan
strategy.
support. Yeah.
They have to follow that strategy because it is Jarvan support. Very interesting.
It's really interesting to see, Jarvan is not being paired with like a really aggressive early game AD carry, so I'm kind of doubtful on what they want to do with this Jarvan, because at this point it's kind of impossible to predict what's going through their minds. Because if you pick Jarvan for like the aggressive early game damage and whatnot, then you would assume that it's going to be paired up with another like super aggressive early game AD carry, so something like Kalista or something like Lucian, right? So.
Right.
But Ezreal does okay early, but he's not a Lucian or he's not a Kalista where he's going to be super oppressive. So probably I'm going to assume that they are trying to get Rusty Panda to roam around, and like they're going to rely on Crixus to be safe on his AD carry, right? So yeah, this is probably going to be play around the Yasuo, where you're going to see Fiddlesticks constantly trying to get something to happen in mid lane. You're going to see Rusty Panda not playing bot lane at all. He's probably going to be playing river, where he just runs around in the river and like tries to gank mid lane non-stop. Right. So it's going to be really interesting. And the thing is, like, can you survive that much pressure as Azir? Right? It's not impossible because he has the mobility that he requires, even though like he isn't like Season 6 Azir, where he can like attack you from 2 screens away. Still, Azir is a kind of a safe champion, right? So I'm gonna my eyes are on the mid lane for this game, Red Bro. I'm really interested.
I still want to see how Crixus handles this sort of pressure from both Nautilus and Kai'Sa, because you know that when you say that Rusty Panda is gonna play that roam engage, he will basically be leaving his AD carry alone to fend for himself, right? So I'm really expecting to see some sort of funnel strat going on the side of DF main, where they just let Crixus farm the minion waves and get as many levels as he can onto his opponent team. But yeah, if Termi does not pop off in the early game, that's going to mean really bad things for him in the mid game. But at the late game, when Yasuo gets like 3 or 2 items, he just pops off anyway. So even if he's really behind in the early mid game, they still have a good late game to play for, and that is something that DF main have to fall back on, which is something that DF Rio might be lacking in, because their late game might not be as good, except for the Azir.
Exactly, right? So Yasuo, if he's ahead, he's going to destroy you. If he's behind, he doesn't care. So this is not your solo queue Yasuo where he has to do everything. He has an on, he has a Jarvan, right? He doesn't care about Ezreal because he doesn't have to provide anything to an Ezreal. Ezreal can do whatever he likes in team fights as long as the player piloting him knows what he's doing, right?
Right.
So all Yasuo has to do is follow up on either on or Jarvan and like destroy the enemy backline. And as long as Termi doesn't get too far behind, like, right, he has a leeway of like 15 CS behind, and even if he's like 15 CS behind, he's still winning the game because at that point you haven't done enough to keep Yasuo down when the enemy has an on and a Jarvan to set up for Yasuo and team fights. And yeah, that's going to be really something to watch out for. And like going back to your previous statement on how whether Crixus can survive laning phase, it's not going to be impossible for him to do so. He
Right.
might have to understand when he can and cannot contest CS, right? He has
Exactly.
If Rusty Panda is going to be playing his like perma roam style, then Crixus has to understand that he has to give up a little bit of CS and like try to keep up in levels.
Yeah.
Because if it's going to be a 2v1 lane, even if you miss out on last hits, you're going to be getting more experience when compared to the enemy laners. And what does a support Jarvan want? He doesn't require anything post level 6, right? A level 7 Jarvan support or a level 11 Jarvan support is still going to do the same thing. He's going to have like 200 HP of difference, and that's like nothing because you're not picking support Jarvan to be a strong frontline tank. You're picking it for other reasons. So it's not going to be impossible. It might be a little bit tricky to pull off, but I do believe that someone who knows how to play these matchups should be able to like pull through.
Yeah, so Rusty Panda, right now, this is a very different champion that he's playing compared to what we're used to playing.
Mhm.
Like, he usually plays those hook supports like Nautilus, Thresh, Blitzcrank, and just roams around the map really, really often. Like, when he comes in the lane, it's really hard aggression coming out from him. They do prefer to crash the wave onto the enemy turret so that the support can roam, like, so that he can roam, essentially. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how he uses the Jarvan in comparison to those hook supports because he relies on getting those picks, but right now he's gonna be doing more of those initiates in the lanes when he does gank. So that's what I'm interested to see in this game.
And like we've been so excited about Jarvan and Yasuo, and we forgot to address Fiddlesticks, which is like, in my opinion, I believe Fiddlesticks isn't like the best champion around. But if you are good at piloting him, and if the enemy doesn't know what they're doing or how to play against him, then you can see a Fiddlestick running away with the game real quick. So
DF Rio does get spotted out by the effigy laid down by Force, Fiddlesticks, and that level 1 invade might just fizzle out, but no, they just take a different path around. They know that they don't have ward. The enemy doesn't have wards in the vision right now, and they just walk into DF main's blue jungle, but they're just gonna recall as soon as they get vision that no one's here.
So they're probably just trying to keep track of what Fiddlesticks is going to be doing. That invade, they didn't want to get anything other than a ward down, right? If they had gotten a kill or like a flash, then that's good for them, but that was not their goal. So they were probably trying to keep track of Fiddlesticks because Fiddlesticks is a champion who can hard clear the jungle, right? He can like super fast clear the jungle, and he's gonna gank you way sooner than you would expect from like a traditional jungler, right? So every person has like a mind timer where, okay, so I'm playing mid, so I'm probably gonna expect to get ganked at like 330 or 350, right? But Fiddlesticks is a champion who's able to gank you way faster while not missing form. So it's a really good decision from Rio to get a ward down so that now they know Fiddlesticks is starting red. And if he's able to take the super fast path to blue side, then they would spot him out on like the, oh, okay, interesting. So Shocky is trying to invade. And let's see
Okay,
how.
so can we sync up the stream timing so that we're on
Sure.
the same page? So I'm at 202, 203.
Okay, I'm at 211, 212. I'm gonna pause.
Okay.
At
No, wait.
215,
I'm just gonna drag.
Okay.
Wait.
217, 218.
All right.
I'm at 222, 223.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, so we just missed a really good engage coming out from the side of DF main. Rusty Panda and Crix is going into Team Mob. As like my game's stuck.
That's unfortunate. So the thing is, like, unlike a Nautilus, Jarvan doesn't require. There's action going on inside the jungle, and yeah, I don't see what TF is trying to pull off here. Oh, never mind.
Okay, so this is a really, really messy fight. There's a teleport coming out from I Killed Van Gogh. He does try he wants to try and go onto 9mm. I'm not sure if the flash was necessary right there, but Shakia might have been in insane trouble right there, but he does manage to escape with a sliver of HP. Rusty Panda still going behind him. He does have vision on him. Might want to contest this. Not sure if he's going to chase all the way. To be so. But he just uses the blast gun and goes away.
Wasting the jungler's time and the early game, that's one of the the best move. And
but right now, Forest and 9mm are dueling it out, and Team Up just comes in, uses the Q, and secures the kill away from him.
Yeah, so much happening in the early game, right, bro? And like, it's even difficult to keep track of someone who's watching, and I can't imagine how the teams are trying to pull this off at this point. But yeah, so the thing is, DF knew that DF Rio got a ward on their blue side, right? And you're going to have to expect that you're going to get invaded. So there were no counter wards coming out of DF. And by the time that they realized that their blue got stolen, it was too late for Fiddlestick to rotate to the enemy blue buff, right? Because just like Fiddlestick, Graves is also a champion who plays really, really fast. And he has the added advantage of having a really strong early game as well when it comes to dueling. So, and that was like a really, really messy early game.
Yep.
Seems like Rio is a little bit ahead due to that play, but you know how these games goes. Anything can happen, and like this lead is not significant enough yet.
Yeah. Can we sync up again? I'm at 421, 422.
I'm at 33, 34.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna pause if you would like.
Okay, yeah. Okay, sure.
I'm paused at 440. Let me know when you hit 440. I'll resume.
Right. My game's getting stuck randomly for some. Okay, I'm at 453 right now. I'm gonna pause.
Okay.
Okay. 502, 503, 557.
Okay. Yeah. 507, 508.
516, 517.
Yeah, we should be good. We should be good.
Yeah, I think we should be good, yeah. Yeah, the logistics of this is just so complicated. Anyways, so right now Shifu spots out Rusty Panda clearing out a vision ward right now. He does want to get in with that engage.
Yeah, Rusty Panda constantly playing the river, as I had mentioned. He makes sure that there's no vision to spot him whenever he tries to rotate to mid lane or when he tries to rotate into the enemy jungle, right? And as long as you have control over river, you can do whatever you like. And the fact here is there are ways to work around it if you're the enemy team. But the thing here is DF, is Rio able to adapt to a playstyle where you don't have much control over river, and your laning is not that strong either, because Jarvan can engage fast enemy creep waves, unlike someone like Nautilus. And it seems like Red Bro probably has some issues with his
yeah, I'm having some issues with syncing up, but it's fine. We can go on anyways. So right now we do see that DF Rio are sitting upon a 600 gold lead, 600k. Wow, 600 gold lead right now. But that isn't really a lot. That is nothing because of the fact that both these teams are so skilled and they know each other so well. But I need to address the elephant in the room here. That was some of a misplay coming out from the side of DF main, like how they handled that early fight near that blue buff. I really didn't expect that this sort of uncoordinated attack would come out from them, but yeah, that happened. But DF Rio right now, they did capitalize on it as pings are going down onto the dragon. Rio do have vision on it right now, so they are at an advantage to pick it up. Even though the scuttle crab is there, they're just going to wait for that scuttle crab to go in. They might contest it as DF main are making a hasty push up the bot lane to try and circumvent that.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I believe like both teams might try to fight at Dragon 1. I'm unsure if like what dragon are we at. So it's an infernal dragon, right? Yeah, so that rules out the possibility of an infernal soul. And if this game is gonna get something like a cloud soul, then if you're the team which scales better, it's much better for you to just give up on like the early dragons until you know what soul is coming up, right?
Right.
Because early dragon fights, it's sort of a coin flip unless you're super sure that your team has what it takes to fight it. But at this point, neither of the teams can be sure that they're going to win the fight because
The
they
Rusty
don't
Panda
have it.
man
Go
wanting
ahead.
to go B for some reason. No, they are just gonna go B again. So that leaves it open for DF Rio to actually take this Infernal Drake uncontested, honestly. And they might just start it off because they do have vision near that dragon pit, and they are starting it off. They are going to take it. The first dragon goes to DF Rio, really comfortable. They had a semblance of an idea, DF main, that DF Rio were taking this dragon, but they really couldn't do anything about it because bot lane was forced to back off.
Exactly, and it's not only that they couldn't do anything about it, but they don't even have to do much about it. Right? You're giving up Infernal Drake. Most people think that it's a really good Drake, and I do agree with it. But look at the timer right now; it's 9 minutes into the game, so you're giving up 1 to 2 AD to the enemy laners, and that's not going to make much of a difference, right? And when you're the team who has someone like On, Fiddlesticks, Yasuo, and Ezreal, you don't care about early game wins. All you're looking to
is engaged right now. Is Reducian engaged coming out? That is a full wombo combo coming out for the side of DF main, and they're just gonna raffle stomp onto 9mm. He just gets taken down. Shifu might meanwhile in trouble here as Termi picks up another kill. And Termi picks up the first kill of his first kill of the game, and he is on the scoreboard right now.
you can't walk up on a Yasuo and On and Jarvan and they're at Herald. That's something that you should never ever do because you're gonna have to respect what the enemy champions can do and like what they want to do, right? So that was a big blunder from Rio at this point because it's not like an early Herald was gonna set you so far behind. You got your dragon. You could have rotated to it earlier, but rather than trying to walk on and like walking on them, right?
Right. So calls for.
Yep, I'm gonna check my client timer.
Uh,
I'm at 9:56,
Wait.
9:57.
we're gonna BRB and just sync up the stream real quick.
Yep.
And we'll be back after that one.
Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth.
Okay, sorry about the disruption, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're all synced up perfectly right now so we can get back into more League of Legends action. Right now, DF main are down 4 kills to 3, but they might just club themselves back into this game because that is just a 500 gold deficit that they're facing down right now. As we do see, mid lane turret has 2 plates in it. This might be the first lane right now to get their turret destroyed as Termi is laying down the pressure onto 9mm, but he goes down with that ultimate that just misses out. Rusty Panda uses the EQ into the flash, and here comes Force with that ultimate stealing the kill away from Termi and Panda. The ultimate goes down onto Shakia. He had no idea what was coming, and Termi gets himself on the scoreboard. Again, 2 kills onto his Yasuo. He's gonna ruffle stomp this game by snowballing.
A mechanical mistake of that caliber is unforgivable at this point of the game. You should never miss your Azure ultimate, and by that margin, probably 9mm panicked at the sight of Yasuo dashing around, I guess.
Yeah, and yeah, as I said, the first turret to go down is that mid lane turret. DF Rio, I mean, sorry, DF main are looking pretty strong right now.
Yeah, and they're the team that actually has the higher potential to scale. We have to take note of that. And when a team which can scale better, I'm not going to say well because there are multiple factors that you're going to have to consider when you think about champion scaling. But
Right.
when you look at it at a vacuum, DF Rio has like the team that will do more in the late game, and they're ahead at early, and it's only 13 minutes, right, bro? And it's already close to a 3K goal lead. So unless
Yep.
Rio manages to get their game back together, this might not be really good for them.
You see Rusty Panda waiting in the bushes, waiting for Shakia. He does get spotted out. That scrying orb is gonna spot him out, and he realizes he just made a mistake. That blast cone just made a weird glitch that sends him off into the dragon pit, and Shakia is trying to take down Rusty Panda as that stopwatch comes out. Here comes Termi from the flank, enters the dragon pit. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. That ultimate goes down onto Shifu. The EQ from Rusty Panda was really good. However, DF Rio responds with a teleport of their own. Here goes the shutdown onto the Termi. Here comes a Forest with that ultimate. He gets suplexed out of the dragon pit. 9mm is still taking damage. What are you doing? Why are you in the ultimate? He dies, and Zuko still tries to get some semblance of a kill. Takes down Forge, but here comes Crixus with a lot of damage. Double kill comes out for I Kill Van Gogh as they secure the dragon with that mystic shot. What was that absolute chaotic fight?
Exactly, Raya. Like we thought of my boys at Rio, they forgot that fiddlesticks existed in this game. He's a champion who's going to show up out of nowhere. Your HP bar is going to drain all the way till you see your screen being gray. And that's one of the first mistakes that you should never do. You should always track the fiddlesticks when he's on the opposing team, right? You're going to have to make sure that he doesn't get enough flanks or he doesn't get a spot where he can ultimate out of. And it's up there with the rules of League of Legends where don't chase a cinch, don't let Fiddle get an ultimate.
Yeah, exactly. I think that DF Rio just allowed way too much of Forest damage to just pop off in that fight. He really didn't have that sort of a good advantage with that positioning that he had at Dragon Pit, but everyone just didn't just gravitate away from him. They just moved him around for some reason, and that just ended up in their folly because they didn't address that problem soon enough. And it just
exactly right. And
Yeah,
it's not like
them
it's a late game Fiddlesticks where he destroys you in 2 ticks of his ultimate. He requires a lot of time to deal damage when it's this early into the game. DF Rio, they're not out of the game yet, but they need to get themselves back together. They need to make a clean gameplay from this point on.
Yeah, a 3K gold deficit is being stared at down by them, which was they had that sort of a small early game advantage that they carved out for themselves, but all of that has diminished right now as T-Mob might be in trouble. Rusty Panda and Crixus looking for the kill, but they might just settle for that top turret. Here comes Termi going in aggressive with that blasting cone, but right now is going to get bushwhacked by 4 members of DF Rio who are struggling to take him down. T-Mob was in a bit of a pickle right there as Termi had his sights on him, but does pick him up. That was really, really ham coming out from Termi.
Termi doing just Yasuo things at this point. He probably got a little bit too excited because he's ahead on Yasuo. But you have to look at how much damage he was able to deal and like how little damage he took at this point, right? It was a 1v4. And
yeah, he almost got a kill onto T-Mob.
Exactly, right? If Rio had made another mistake, then that would have been a 1-for-1 trade and a 1v4 fight. So those are the things that you never want to see when you're trying to fight against a team comp like Yasuo, Yeon, and Darwin, right? So
exactly, as we do see a wet noodle fight coming down in the bottom lane between 2 juggernauts up top lane. But I'm going to point out towards something interesting, right? So DF main have 10 kills and Rusty Panda has 10 assists. He has 100% kill participation in this game. That is the impact that he has with that J4 support. Like you said, he was going to roam. He did. He is everywhere on the map where his team wants to make a play. That is really good map vision and really good macro play coming out for him.
Exactly. If you're going to pick something like J4, this is how you're supposed to play. You don't pick J4 just so that you could get pressure in lane. Yes, that's an added bonus, but you pick J4 because you can transition into being a second jungler. He already has a stone plate, so he might as well be at this point.
Definitely. That is a staple item on J4 nowadays. In contrast to the Warrior Black Cleaver build we used to see back in the day in Season 8 and 9.
Yeah, and this sort of like... it makes J4 so much reliable, where if J4 is going to build a lot of damage, there is a chance that he gets blown up. But right now,
Yeah.
he's going to throw down his ultimate, he's going to stand there, he's going to whack you with his pole or stick or whatever he's using. So
Yep.
you're not going to be able to do anything, right? He's going to shred your armor. Yeah, he's going to do everything that's going to be annoying, and you're going to have to find an answer to that real quick, or the game's going to be over.
Yeah, and I have to give commendation to Rusty Panda. He has been a thorn on the side of DF Rio right now because he's been absolutely everywhere. Every time you see a ward, Panda is just right there. He just planted it and he gives away your position, right? So you know that the enemy jungler is in that part of the map and you can just push on the other side really quickly. So he's playing the information game really, really well. And his map presence is just phenomenal throughout the entire game.
Exactly, and Rio, they're probably looking at Zuko and they're probably looking at T-Mob, and they want, okay, you guys are the ones who has gold, has the most gold in our team, so we are gonna try to play around you. So we're gonna, I'm probably looking at Zuko at this point, right? If Zuko can turn, get a really good ultimate on and like get multiple people into his attack zone, right?
Yeah.
Then that he might be able to pull off a quick teamfight victory, but unless and until they're able to pull off a really miraculous team fight, it might not be in their best interest to go for a standard team fight where everyone is allowed to do whatever they want, right?
Right.
Because you're 3K gold behind, it's not that big of a deal, but it is still a decent chunk of gold to a team which is going to scale better.
And you're just at risk of, being ruffle stumped by that wombo combo because DF main do have that sort of, wombo combo team composition going for them because they have so much CC that can just hold Rio's team members in place at the same time so that Fiddle just gets way too many ticks of his ultimate, way more than necessary or way more than desirable. So yeah, if you're in a fight in Dragon Pit, for example, that is not a fight that you really should pick. You should opt to disengage and try to get the Fiddlesticks away from your carries as much as possible and not suplex them into your own team.
Exactly right, bro. And if I were you, I would look at my team. I would tell myself, okay, I have a lot of wave player. I have a really strong set who can match who is in the side end. Questionably, I'm unsure if he can match Yasuo at this point. But you can play the side lane and you can play for pressure, right? And the Infernal Dragon is already up. Ocean Dragon is already up. Two of the most strongest souls in the game are out. They don't care about Cloud. Okay. Unfortunately, the game is paused, and I'm unable to check which soul we have. And I think it's Cloud Soul, right? Or is
it is Cloud Soul because we didn't see any changes in the map. So.
Oh no, it's Mountain Soul. Okay.
It's Mountain Soul. Oh, okay. So for some reason, the pause just takes away the map. Map changes as well. So yeah.
That was kind of weird. But that's the point, right? So it's Mountain Soul. It's not like that's going to be a win condition at this point anyway. So you can feel free to give up a little bit more, like 2 or 3 Drakes. Wait, they can't give up 3. You can give 2 other Drakes. You can try to form up and make sure that like you're kind of even, right? Because
but right now DF realizes that they do have that team fight advantage, and they're just really quickly doing, just melting this Mountain Drake as fast as possible. And if Rio really aren't in a position to contest, I think that's best for them because that fight would have been suicidal.
Yeah, Rio shouldn't take any team fights at this moment because the thing is like, yes, you are behind and yes, you might get outscaled, but still you don't want to fight because, oh god, Zuko's getting
oh my goodness, what was that ultimate onto Rusty Panda? Wait, he does manage to save himself by getting himself closer to the turret, so...
And he did what he needed to do. Now, look at the other side of the map. Now, Rio can trade, and they can get some well-required gold from, like, getting turret kills, or at least getting CS for like, their carries, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, 3k gold difference at 20 minutes, and 3k gold difference at 35 minutes is a totally different thing. You don't care about a 3k gold difference at 35 minutes. So, Rio... At this point, they have to look at not letting the goal lead grow. As long as they keep even at this point, the mistakes that they made in the early game might not matter as much.
Yeah, they did shrink it down to 2.3k right now, 2.4k just now. So yeah, they are doing that work to minimize that gap that they have between Rio and main. But I just feel like they just need to have that sort of a pick mentality where Shifu just goes in with that Nautilus hook and they just pick someone and just kill them instantly, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to look for a pick don't look for team fights. Make sure you get like your blue trinkets on your carries. I don't like the yellow trinket and Azir. He doesn't require it. Get blue trinkets so that the enemy can't rush down Baron. Use deductive reasoning to find out where the enemy is, right? If you see only one member at like the other side of Baron, then you can check Baron. But if you see like 3 members, don't check Baron at all. Because even with this goal lead, DF is not in a position to rush down Baron. So all you have to do is wave clear, do nothing, try to like catch up.
Like it's just the entire game right now is just Rio catching glimpses of Rusty Panda in their jungle. And they're like, how is this guy everywhere? How is this guy everywhere? And how do we have so many wards in our jungle? Where did these come from?
Exactly, right? And he manages to get away every single time. You're not able to do anything against him. He walks in, he drops wards, he like waves at you, he says hello, and then he EQs away. There's nothing you can do about it.
But right now, I don't think that this is the optimal way for Rio to be playing. Like, yes, they are getting that CS. They are trying to reconsolidate themselves. But, yeah, as DF main are starting down this Baron, they need to be more proactive right now. They don't have vision onto that. They did spot them out with that Scout Orb right now. But I'm not sure if this is going to be really in time, because the Baron is at 1000 HP. There won't be any crazy steals coming out, but here comes Zuko with that initiate, almost takes down Rusty Panda with that W, gets promptly taken down by Ornn, but here comes another messy team fight onto DF Rio. No one's damaging Forest. He is in there with the stopwatch right now as Shakia gets chased down by I Kill Van Gogh and Forest, but wow, what a messy fight. 9mm wasn't even there.
That's why you need the blue trinket right there. When you're behind and when you're trying to catch up, when you're trying to just farm up, you're going to have tools to check whether the enemy team is rushing down Baron, right? If they had known earlier, they could have rotated. And when you see how Zuko was able to deal that much damage and how the fight was much, much closer than it should have been, imagine if DF Rio were able to rotate in time and they had all of their members who are required to be there. If they had been there, then like it would have been a totally different team fight at that point, right, bro?
Exactly, and I think that they're still allowing Forrest to get way too much of his damage off. Like, it was a while before he popped his Zhonya's Hourglass in that fight. He positioned himself, and by that positioning, by the time he did position himself in a fight where he could actually deal the most amount of damage, 3 or 4 ticks of his ultimate was down. That gives you enough time to disengage or just push him away somehow, right? But they just didn't seem to do that. They just wanted to, fight in that danger zone right there, and that was their folly, honestly, even though they had such a close team fight, even without 9mm joining the fight.
Yeah, the thing is, Rio at this point, they're probably tunneling too much on like the targets that they're focusing. They're forgetting about Fiddlesticks and his ultimate. Right, and the thing is, like, you can't play like that. I do understand that it's super difficult to play against a Yasuo and an Ezreal who are going to be like dashing and flashing around. You still got to keep track of enemy cooldowns and enemy summoner spells and like everything that you need to in a team fight. That's what's going to differentiate a good team from a really well put together team. Right? Any team can team fight and press buttons, but a really good team, they would track your important cooldowns. They'll track summoner spells. They'll call out targets, right? That's something that I want to see from everyone in India, right? So,
exactly, but they're just focusing down on Termi because it is apparent from the scoreboard that they just want to pick out the Yasuo and they think that they've instantly won the team fight, while forgetting the fact that they have this sort of threat from Fiddlesticks, from Ezreal, and Ornn, who is 405 at this point, mind you, and he can deal lots of damage if you allow him to team fight for extended periods of time as well.
Exactly. He has his honor items completed, the most optimal items for on. He has Sunfire, he has Abyssal Mask. It's going to synergize with this entire kit. He's going to like destroy anyone who gets into his range, even though he's a tank. Yeah. And that's going to be third dragon for DF, and one more, and on is going to be unkillable.
Oh, Forest spots out Zuko in the jungle. Might want to not fight this, but here comes Termi with that follow-up. Team-Op pops the ulti to try and get Forest out. The hook misses from Shifu. Here comes 9mm with that ultimate. 3-man ulti comes out from Termi, and that follow-up blast from Graves just obliterates them, and DF main might not be in the best spot right now, but they're still winning the fight. Here comes I Kill Van Gogh. He's pushed down by the wall. Oh my god, this is 4-man picked up by DF Rio. I Kill Van Gogh is the only person surviving. Shakia, that was a lot of damage coming out from the Graves. He just blasted them with one ultimate and just turned the fight around. then came in 9mm with that clutch ultimate that blocked off I Killed Van Gogh from further reinitiation and just won the fight straight up for them.
9mm and Shokya being able to free hit the entire team fight. They might be behind, but it's still a Graves and a Nazir. They're going to be dealing so much damage if you let them do whatever they want in team fights. And it has shown. And this is the team fight that Rio was looking for. And it couldn't have taken, like, if it had it happened, the game would have been over by this time.
Yeah, and this is how you address these team fights, right? They picked off Forrest right at the beginning of the fight and didn't allow him to get as much damage as he could have, right? So when you pick apart Forrest and Yasuo and you block off the Ornn, you block off I Killed Van Gogh, and that's an instant fight win because you have a damage advantage over them once you pick apart these two champions, right? Because you don't expect a lot of damage coming out from Jarvan and Ornn. You pick out Yasuo, you pick out Fiddlesticks, and you just leave the Ezreal to be chased down by either the Graves or the Set. So you eliminate all the damage numbers from there. And you just try to slowly consolidate that lead and just slowly push in, because I Kill Van Gogh is just going to be a meat shield at this point as he transitions into the late game.
Exactly right, bro. And the thing that has been like hard carrying DF's team fights, the Fiddlesticks Ultimate, which is going to be a surprise, wasn't present in the last team fight. So
yeah, exactly.
When you have Fiddlesticks right in front of your eyes, he's not going to do anything. He's just going to stand there and he's going to die. That's the most that he's going to be able to do. Fiddlesticks wants to get the insane flanks. He wants to get the 5-man or 4-man ultimates out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And when he isn't able to do that, then he's not even a champion at that point.
Yeah, and that just contrasts against what Forrest was actually doing in that fight prior, right? He was in that wolf camp, giving away his position, giving away vision, trying to counter jungle the wolves, which you really don't need to do when you're sitting in such a comfortable gold lead and a comfortable kill lead as well. So, yeah, I think that questionable decision really set the precedent for that messy fight, which they just lost.
Exactly, and Forrest, he's super comfortable on his items at this moment. He has his Morelos, he has his Sonyas, and he has his Runic Echoes. So he doesn't need to greed for a wolf camp. The last team fight didn't change much, but it did give Rio the opportunity to stay in this game for much longer and to look for more opportunities where they can like come back and like they can turn the game around.
Right, and that 2k gold lead, 2.6k gold lead doesn't really look that menacing at near 30 minutes.
Exactly, right? As time goes on, 2 or 3k gold leads matter much less, right? That was close.
That was. If they did manage to catch on to Rusty Panda, they might have actually gone on for the Baron, which is spawning soon.
Exactly, right? And at this point, it's anyone's game because DF Rio, they have the items that they require, right? They have 2.5 items on most of their carries, and that's all that they need. And when Azir and Kai'Sa, they complete their third items, then they're comfortable. From that point onwards, those champions are not going to change the way that they can. Oh, it's a drag.
Okay, DF main starting off this Baron right now, but the difference is that DF Rio are in a better position to contest for this, even though Zuko is in the bot side. They do manage to spot out Rusty Panda as the Baron is getting taken down really dangerously low. They have to make a play here. The steal comes out from Chakia. The flash smite, the ultimate, the key goes in. Here comes DF Rio. Rusty Panda is isolated from the rest of the team while Zuko handles 4 members of DF main. He does manage to handle 4 members of DF main as they pick out Rusty Panda and steal away this Baron. What an amazing steal coming out from Shakya. Oh my goodness.
Beautifully done by Shakya right there. And now with the Baron secured, they can get a dragon right here. That's soul being denied for DF right there, right, bro. And now DF has nothing to do for the next 5 minutes. All they can do is like clear out Baron minions, and that gives them more time to get back into the game. And forget about time. DF Rio is already back into the game. The goal lead is even at this point. All they have to do is like secure this dragon and like they're in.
Wow, this is just so topsy-turvy, and this is what a game this is turning out to be. It's so unfortunate that we saw that disconnect in game 1 because this is what we might have seen back then, but no worries, we're seeing it right now. What an amazing series.
Exactly, and DF main, they probably disrespected Rio a little bit too much. They had the on ultimate, but they chose not to use it on Shakya, and they let him get into the Baron pit, and at that point it's a 50-50. And when you're Graves, you have so many tools for you to, you have so many of your abilities which you can use with your smite to make sure that you can secure Baron better than the enemy teammate. What
Yeah.
is Fiddlesticks gonna do? Is he gonna use his Q on Baron when he uses Smite? No, that's not gonna work.
Exactly. So many nuke spells coming out from Graves, and that just played really good for him in his
Exactly,
in his
and
favor.
the problem there is they had vision of Graves. That should never have happened. As soon as Baron got low, you should have thrown all on ultimate on Graves. But they got a bit too greedy. They wanted to save ultimate for team fights, and now the game goes 5 minutes longer than they wanted it to go.
Yeah, or it might even go longer because DF Rio are in the position for comeback, and that's gonna set DF main back on their back foot. So they might just want to, hold and not push in too much before that Baron buff actually goes out. So yeah, we're back into a stalemate here.
Huh. Interesting itemization choices right here by On. He gets an abyssal. Sorry, it's not an abyssal helm. Mask gets an adaptive helm, but Azir is 3-4, and oh, never mind. On second thought, that's a good enough purchase, I guess, because he already has a stab eye and he already has a sunfire kit.
Sunfire. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I was just thinking out loud. Yeah.
I think the adaptive helm is for that sustained damage that Azir does. So I think that
adaptive helm is an item that does really well against champions like Azir, Kayle, Cassiopeia, Ryze, right? I was just questioning whether it was required because Azir was behind, but
but Azir
it's not
does
like
have
he
good
requires
items.
armor anyway because he has more than enough at this point.
Yeah, but Azir has really good items at this point. The Liandry's, Nashor's Tooth, Ludens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But what do you think about the Edge of Night on Shakya?
Well, it's one of those shocky items, right? He wants to be aggressive, and this is an item that's going to allow him to do whatever he wants in team fights, at least for the first 5 seconds until it gets poked, right? But you don't have to worry about getting picked off. You don't have to worry about a Fiddlestick ultimate coming out of nowhere and you being feared for 2.5 seconds and being destroyed, right? I really like that purchase, right? You're not buying it for the lethality, essentially. You're just buying it because it's an AD item that gives you a shield, and that might be the difference between him being able to play the game and him getting destroyed every single team fight. Because as anyone who has played Graves knows, as Graves, you're not essentially an AD carry. You're more of a pseudo frontline who deals too much damage. So this is an item that might enable his playstyle where he is able to be aggressive. He's able to go in to try to chunk out the enemy teammates, and he can take one spell, and after that he can back off. He can try to reposition. Right, it gives him the opportunity to do that, and yeah.
Okay, so right now the stalemate continues. At this gold lead is neck in neck right now, but I mean, the gold balance is neck and neck right now. 200 gold to DF Rio, but really that's just peanuts in comparison to the game time that we're seeing. 33 minutes in. It's at that point where if any team makes a slight mistake, it just goes against their favor completely and the game is off. As we do see pings down onto the Dragon. They do not want this Mountain Drake to go to DF main. DF Rio are going to contest this, and this might just be the game-winning team fight.
Exactly. We'll probably see who's going to win the game out of this team fight at this point.
Ooh, that's a bit of an aggression.
FDS main is going to get the Dragon. It's going to be Mountain Soul for them when you have a 3.5 item on your team. He's going to be unkillable. And you also have someone like Jarvan who has so much resistance. It's just going to get amplified. And
right now, Shifu goes in with that hook onto Rusty Panda. That might be an initiate coming out as a TP from I Killed Van Gogh is a bit premature. DF Rio are poised to back away from this really smart engage coming out from the side of DF Rio, but they choose to back off, which was smart as well, because if DF main win this team fight, they're more in a position to end this because mid tower is so low, they can just run it down mid and straight up try to end the game as quickly as they can, whereas DF Rio have more to work through, right? So yeah, it's DF Rio's game to lose still at this point.
Exactly, and DF Rio, they don't want to be in a position where they can get engaged on. They don't want to be in a position where they get Jarvan ulted into Fiddlesticks ult. That's going to be a nightmare for them. They want to be able to set up, they want to get vision control, and they want to play this methodically. They don't want to rush into it, because rushing into an own Fiddlesticks is one of the worst ideas that a team could ever pull off.
But man, these pings are coming down from both these teams. They're raring to fight, but they just know that they need to get that perfect engage off. Otherwise, no one's going to try and fight. But I can tell the body language is just that they really, really want to fight and end this game as quickly as they can.
Exactly. It's gonna come down to who loses their patience first, or who's able to force the other team to act. And DF Rio, they're looking to like rush down the Baron. And
Secure the
there's
dragon.
honor
Here
to
goes
coming
the
out, right?
ultimate coming out from I Killed Van Gogh is gonna land onto one member team, but here goes DF main. That Ozir ultimate still gonna block off DF main, but still Zuko is in there with 4 members. He does manage to spend enough time to do something for him, but this fight is still going in favor of DF main. Termi slays Shifu. 9mm surviving with his life as 3 members of DF main are pushing down mid lane. I
It's
Killed
gonna
Van
be
Gogh
over.
might
He's gonna
just...
be able to get the kill.
He
And-
does get the kill, and DF main are just going to go for the Baron, or are they going to go for the base? Confusing pings going down. Termi is going to go for that mid lane turret, while Forest and Crixus are going to contest for this Baron. They can't
They're gonna-
do it on their own.
Yeah, they can get a 2-man Baron because Philips, he's gonna heal endlessly. He's not gonna take much damage from Baron.
Yeah, they can do it on their own, but they're not going to go further into that mid turret. I think Termi could have picked up that second turret, but yeah, that was an amazing fight coming out from DF main. Even though 9mm played that really well with that ultimate and Zuko was just holding 4 members of DF main right there, it was just too much damage coming out from Forest that, you know, really sealed the deal in that fight.
Exactly. You had to be slow and you had to be methodical. You had to think of what the enemy team can and cannot do. The one saving grace for Rio is that they managed to secure the dragon even though they lost the team fight, and the game is still not over. So they can still come back. So that's the one thing that's gonna keep Rio going at this point. But right now you're gonna be forced to defend against a team with On, Jarvan, and Yasuo, who also happens to have Baron buff. So if Rio is able to pull that off, then they can look further into the game.
I think DF main would want to push down one side lane before the 3 minutes or so before the next dragon is up, because they really don't want another dragon fight, because they know that it can easily go either way, right? Because at this point on, each team fight you lose or win, if you don't transition that or translate that into an objective or a turret, it really doesn't mean much. Because look at the items on both these teams, right? They all have 4 or 5 items already. So it doesn't really make much of a difference if you win and you don't transition that into an advantage, because the other team can just come back and it's late game and they can just force another fight.
Exactly, Red. At this point, a team fight loss is going to mean like 40 to 50 seconds of death timers. And with the amount of damage that champions deal at this point, the game can be over at that time interval.
Ooh, I Killed Van Gogh might want to spot out and initiate onto Zuko. Might not be the best person to initiate onto. Termi wants to go ham as they do pick up this inner turret at top lane. They are, yeah, like I said, before that 3 minutes is up, they're going to push it out. But meanwhile, 9mm, if you spot him down, he's going to backdoor. It's a base race coming out here, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to win this? That ultimate comes down from Crixus onto that bot side as I Killed Van Gogh is TPing to secure that bot lane against 9mm, who's going to be forced to retreat back onto the base as DF main get that top lane inhibitor.
Rio going for the gamble play right there. Oh, they're going to try to...
Right now, that ultimate comes down from Shifu. Here comes that 4-man ultimate from Forest. It's going to destroy DF Rio. Zuko tries to do something, but nothing doing. 9mm forced to ult away to safety, but can't do nothing right there. Zuko still surviving against 4 members of DF main, but it's time for Rusty Panda to do so, but he gets taken down. Oh my goodness, is this still gonna, translate into another fight? Oh my goodness, that hook into the fountain. I Killed Van Gogh with a sliver of HP, but here goes Crixus. Is he gonna get that pentakill? He does! What amazing mechanical display to end this absolute topsy-turvy roller coaster of a game. Oh my god.
Exactly. Pentakill coming in for Crixus. DF main prove why they're the main roster at this point. Rio had an amazing game today, but there were still mistakes in their gameplay, and if they had worked on them, they could have done a lot better. But still, at the end of the day, DF main have taken the series at this point, and they have shown us why they're the better team.
After a Pyrrhic victory, DF main stand tall as the winner of such an amazing game 2. It's a shame that we had to have a forfeit in game 1, which could have gone like this as well, which might have made up for a more fair series. But it's just unfortunate. It's just how the game is. But
Yeah, it's
yeah, that was
unfortunate.
an amazing display, honestly, from DF Main and DF Rio. What a show! What a show! Take a bow. Both teams just take a bow.
Indeed, and it was really fun watching them play from like the first person view. And hopefully, we get more free games like this in the future. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for Game 1 of today's semifinal lineup. We will be back with more League of Legends action in the second semifinal of the day, so keep an eye on this space. Don't go anywhere.